We went to Guatemala this year, and we've been gone for several years. So this year was kind of bittersweet, especially for me, because it's our last year to go to Guatemala. I've actually already gotten the plans to go to Argentina next year to help. We're going to be starting some new work there. We've been in Guatemala now for 10 years, and it's been a good partnership for us. And actually, First Baptist is going to take over our Guatemalan partnership, and so they're going to continue to work there because the church we were working with, we're working with a new church there in Guatemala. The church planners, the ones who lead it, are our translators at where we've been working before in Caban. Now we're working in San Antonio. And so Brother Trent there felt like he just wanted to help see this church get more established. And so he wanted to be able to stay there and work there. And so First Baptist is going to take it over while I help lead our association working in another country, which is again working in Argentina. Well, let's see if I can get this. Let's see.
So Twillbeck, we're gonna move up.
Oh, yeah. Well, look up if you could see it, anyway, we had a team of 9 that went this year, and part of our purpose this time, every year we try to find something that's kind of our main purpose, and part of our purpose this year was to provide what we call water filtration systems. Many Guatemalans, they do not have fresh water or electricity in their homes. All of us, as Americans, we're so blessed. We get up in the morning, we turn on the water, brush our teeth, take a shower, put on a cup of coffee, get our day going, and we have the luxuries of having that in our household. But there again, in Guatemala, they don't have that luxury. Most homes do not have electricity. Most homes are just, either wood or metal, and smaller than this room, but very small rooms. One room house that everybody lives in, and the women get up early in the morning and sometimes will have to walk for miles to get water for their family, and that's not fresh water. Water oftentimes has contaminants in it and stuff like that. And so we provide these filtration systems that they can, they're getting poured the water into, it filters the water through, and allows the family to have fresh water. And so we had our team that 9 that went, and let's see here. And one of the first days I should say this, I got day 1 DBS. We got to Guatemala, there again, when you go to an international country somewhere around the world, you're always faced with challenges. We got to Guatemala and they were having protests, all the main roads, which are again, if Interstate 40 gets blocked, what will we do? We jump on Highway 70, right? We go on Highway 70. But they don't have Highway 70s, they just have one road. And so the main roads were being blocked by protesters because they were upset with stuff that was going on in the government. And so we started out, we held off from going from Guatemala City to San Antonio because of that. Well, as we were kind of waiting to see if the process would clear up. They didn't, and it ended up taking us 10 hours to go. Really would be like a 3 or 4 hour trip.
Oh, wow.
But, you know, there again, God had his purpose in it, and our team, we hadn't had much really time to really get together. We had people from different churches all over our association, and so 10 hours in the bus with somebody, you really get to know them. I'll tell you that much. You get to learn who they are. But our day, our day one was really our second day there. We ended up, we went to schools, and this is one of the schools, and by the way, the schools were out at this time, but they told the kids we were going to be there, and all of the kids showed up.
Wow.
Now, if our schools were out, and you had someone special was going to be there, and you told the kids about it, would they show up? No. I mean, it's a day out of school, you know. But all the kids, you can see, you know, it was lots of kids showed up. We did a VBS puppet show, and we also presented them, you know, their kid. Our schools, you know, today, our schools here, our kids get breakfast, they get lunch, they have fresh water coming in, but the schools there do not have fresh water. And you know, they don't have, you know, they don't have lunch provided for them. So we did give the school system water filtration systems to their kids. You know, when you think about your health, what do you need to live? You need water. And, you know, yeah, we like to drink our sweet tea and our Cokes and all that, but, you know, we need water to be able to live and survive. And we need fresh water. We can't drink water that's contaminated, because if we do, it makes us sick. And so, you know, these kids get a lot of sicknesses from the water that they've been drinking. So the water filtration systems help them to be able to have fresh water. And this is, you know, we were doing VBS. You can see the classroom. These classrooms, they're again, you know, they're not air conditioned. You know, it's not, you know, it's just brick walls, you know, some windows there, metal roof. It's like being in an oven, to be honest with you. It's hot, you know, it's that hot down there. But yet, you know, the kids were willing to listen to us, to learn, and as we shared about Jesus Christ with them. And so it was a great opportunity to us to be able to share the gospel with them. Then also, you know, this is the church that we work with, Cristo Vive, which means Christ is alive. And Brian Parsons, one of our pastors, he preached that day. You know, they're going to have, you know, after we did Bible school, we went to the church, had worship, had several people come forward and accept Christ. It was a great, you know, there again, after being held up on for one day, 10 hours on the bus, it was a great way for us to be able to start out our ministry working there in Guatemala. And this is the day two. We went to the second school. You know, we had taken these beach balls, and there again, you talk about having fun with kids. These kids love those beach balls. I don't think they've ever seen a beach ball, and we were just popping them around, throwing them around and everything. But it opened the door for us there again to be able to share Jesus Christ with them and tell them more about who the Lord Jesus is. There's another picture of the beach balls. I was surprised that the kids, they wanted to keep those balls, because they weren't used to them. They weren't used to seeing them. They were so excited about them. This is the second school that we went to. Also, they're out of school, and yet you can see the crowd of kids that we had gathered there to be able to share with them. And we just, the stuff that we use for Vacation Bible School here, that's what we took down there and we shared with them about who Jesus is. Here's another picture with the group, and we were able to do a puppet show with them, and use the puppets to be able to communicate. And our Hispanic pastor, Evan and Pachi, here at Farrell, they went with us. They helped lead this puppet show for us, and so we appreciate them and their support. Here's one of the home visits we made. This couple, we went to their house. The wife was a believer, but the husband wasn't. And I got the opportunity to be able to share Jesus Christ with them. We came to faith in Christ. So that's me there actually sharing Jesus with them. But we use this water filtration system and to share Jesus with them. Now, I'm just going to read with you. I think most of us here know about, when Jesus met the woman in Samaria at the well. But it says here in John chapter 4, verse 4, it says, talk about Jesus, it says that he needed to go through Samaria. Now, Jews would not travel through Samaria because they did not, Samaritans were a different breed. They weren't pure Jewish people. They were kind of like half-breed Jewish people. And so Jews would not talk with them. They wouldn't, matter of fact, most Jews, would travel around Samaria. If you've ever been to Jerusalem, to Israel, they would travel around that area called Samaria, because they wouldn't want to go there. But notice it says Jesus, he needed to go to Samaria. And I thought about that, and the fact that we need to be on mission. God commands all of us to be on mission. We need to go to those places that people would not go to. And we need to go to places like Guatemala and share the gospel. But he went to the well there, and a woman of Samaria came to draw water from Jesus and said to her, "Give me a drink." And Jesus said, "Give me a drink." Or give. In that day and time, a man would not speak to a Samaritan woman and tell her, to give me this drink, but Jesus did. And he used that water, he used that thing about giving me a drink in order to tell the woman about who he was. And the woman of Samaria said to him, "How is it that you, being a Jew, ask a drink from me, a Samaritan woman? For Jews have no dealings with Samaritans." And Jesus answered and said to her, "If you knew the gift of God, who it is who said to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." The water that was coming from that well was not living water. In other words, the water would drain off the land and drain down into those wells, and it would be a stagnant water. It would be water. It would be warm. It would not be fresh water. The water that flows out of a brook is like, if you go to the Smoky Mountains, that cool, fresh water that flows through the creeks there, that's living water. And the woman said to him, "Sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well has been there. The well is deep. Where then can you get that living water?" And Jesus answered and said to her, "Whoever drinks this water will thirst again. Whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst, but the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water springing up into everlasting life. And that's what we offer people is, again, yeah, we want to get them these filtration systems so they can have fresh water to drink from. But more importantly, we want to be able to tell them who Jesus is. And that's why we use these opportunities like giving these filtration systems, because these people can't afford that. These filtration systems, for us to get one, it's $50 for one unit, for one filtration system. They don't have that kind of money. They're poor people. And so, it opens the door for us to be able to share with them about who Jesus is. This is the second home, and these people were even poorer than that first house I went into. We were able to provide them with one of these water filtration systems. Our third day there, we got to do street evangelism, and that is just basically, we just went out into this marketplace sharing the gospel one-on-one, and we were right there in the market. It was a busy place. I mean, it was the day where everybody goes to the market, and so it was crowded down there. There were lots of people, and we had translators go out with us. We took out tracts and just went, as people were just sharing with them, offering it to them as we went around the market. And then in that same marketplace, I had the opportunity, in which the first time for me to do this, just out in the marketplace, start preaching the gospel. And so, I was surprised. I was thinking, these people are going to be busy. They're not going to pay attention to what I'm saying. But people actually stopped. They sat down. They listened. And praise God, we had a young lady that accepted Christ through that. And so, really excited about that. And these are some of the people who were with us. Some ladies who they sang some songs. That's me preaching there. We were there on July 4th, and so they put up a big American flag for us, and this is our team that again, they wanted to honor us for our Independence Day, and that was really exciting. And then again, still July 4th, we had worship. This is Ed Brownston. Some of y'all may know Ed. He's from here. He taught Sunday school. This was actually, I guess it was Sunday. I don't know. But anyway, he taught Sunday school and played some different games with people. Just again part of the lesson. And this is all the kids in the church. And I showed this picture because this is they're getting a new church plant. When we first started working with them, they only had a handful of people, and now you can see how much they've grown. And your church has supported that. And so, I say thank you to you because you've helped us be able to help these people reach, their community for Jesus Christ. There was no evangelistic church in this area at all. And so when they planted this church, there were no churches there. The couple, Hector and Ingrid, they moved there. They bought a house there. They moved there, and they purposely are living there in order to help plant this church, in order to help reach the people of that community. And it's a really it's a tough area to reach because first off, they grow sugar cane there, and the sugar cane workers work part of the year, and then when they're not there, they'll go elsewhere to work, kind of like we have migrant farmers here. And so, anyway, it's a rough area to reach. Most of the people, if they do work on the sugarcane farm. The men work there, and then the women, maintain the home. And so, it's hard, especially reaching men, but this church is reaching men, it's reaching some of the women and children, and so we thank God for what He's doing through them. And every family that attended that Sunday, we were able to give them a water filtration system, and also we gave out food packs. I've shared this with you before, but most Guatemalans, only make a couple of dollars a month, I think. And they're good. Most of them do not have cars. Most of them walk, or they'll catch some kind of public transit to get around. We were able to, these food packs we buy are like $35, and you'll feed a family of 4 for about a month. Now, you and I, we go to the grocery store. I know, my wife was telling me yesterday, she said, "Oh, I went to Kroger and eggs are $5 for a dozen." It's like, okay. We know what groceries cost here. And yet, it's amazing that we're able to provide these food packs that can feed these families and provide for them. And most of these people, again, aren't able to afford that stuff. They do some farming. They grow their own corn and stuff like that, which helps them to survive. But we were able to help them out, with some basic stuff that they need in their lives. So anyway, I am going to open it up. If you have any questions.
How long were you there altogether?
We were there. We usually typically a week. Usually we will fly in this time we flew in on a Tuesday. We came home on Tuesday.
How long did it take you to figure out what CNF was? When I went to Argentina, C was the hot water, and F was the cold water.
Oh yeah.
I got started 4 times.
Yeah.
That's what C and what's it?
Yeah. Most of the time, they do find, it's not Holiday Inn, but they do find a decent hotel for us to stay at. Yeah.
Brother Jim, the church looks open to me.
It is open.
So is it like a metal roof?
This church, this actually not their build, this don't belong to them, it belongs to the Baptist Association.
Okay.
Down there, and so, kind of like I'm the association, but, it belongs to the Baptist Association. It is open, and believe me, I've tried to preach there when it rains, and you cannot hear a word. It's just live. Yeah.
What is the weather like there?
It's tropical. Most of the time, of course, this actually is when we were there in July, it's kind of like their winter, even though they're a little bit north of the equator, and it's still, they're still opposite of what we were. And so it was supposed to be cooler there, but it's still, to me, is warm. Yeah. A lot of the Guatemalans will walk around with a coat on. And this is where San Antonio is close to the Pacific Ocean. So, Guatemala has both the Caribbean Ocean on one side and the Pacific on the other. And so, but this is on the Pacific side. Yeah.
What do you put in that food pack?
It's stuff like rice and beans, cooking oil, some sugar, flour, some basics, powdered milk,
What would be the normal diet, maybe? The normal diet of what they have pigs and cows?
Now, Guatemalans typically eat a lot of corn, they eat, a lot of tortillas, and so they'll put stuff in it. They make a type of soup that they eat that has chicken in it, and so, yeah.
So they do have chickens and cows and pigs?
No, you see some cows, and most Guatemalans cannot afford, like steaks and stuff like that, they just can't afford it. Yeah. And, every now and then you'll see some, they'll have a pig run around. I'll be honest, I was staying way out, and I had hiked into a village one time, and I had to go up and go find the outhouse. Came out of the outhouse, and there was this big old pig standing there. But you don't see many pigs, yeah.
Maybe just chickens.
And animals, they're farm animals, like we keep our farm animals, contained, fenced in. Their farm animals just kind of run loose.
Free range.
Yeah, yeah.
Dogs and cats, do they have any?
You see some dogs and cats down there, many, yeah. Most of them are wild. You gotta be careful with the dogs, 'cause, rabies and stuff like that, yeah. Yeah.
So does the Guatemalan government ever give you any trouble? Do you have any trouble in airports and things like that?
The government never gives us any trouble. Matter of fact, they are very supportive of what we do because, we're obviously down there helping the people, so, yeah.
How about cartels?
No, that's in Mexico. Mexico's got more of the drug problem than Guatemala does. Guatemala is a very safe country to me to fly into. I mean, there again, as Dr. Gene said, I've traveled around the world. I've been to other countries, and there have been some spots that I've been in that I felt, a little concerned about my safety. But I knew God was with me, and so, I was trusting in the Lord. But Guatemala, to me, is very safe.
So Argentina then is the next place?
Argentina
where
is where we're looking at, and we're gonna go to Buenos Aires, which, Buenos Aires is the capital. There's like 10 million people there. It's like New York City, I'm told, so it's a very large place. But our hopes are to leave out of there and go out into the countryside to work with churches that are out in the rural areas.
Brother Jim, something that we may have some folks here, this is just a sidebar. You do so much at the Western District. And so I just thought if you could just kindly tell us just something about what all we do there at the Western District.
Sure. People ask me all the time, Jim, what do you do? and
What don't you do?
Yeah, that's a very good question. One of the things, obviously we have 35 Southern Baptist churches that I work with here in our community, and my work is to help our churches to do missions work. But, there again, presently, we are trying to, one of the things we're doing is trying to reach the Hispanics in our community. The Hispanic community is a growing population in Tennessee and in Henry County. Faro, our Hispanic church, reaches, I guess I said a little bit earlier, 10 different countries.
Oh, wow.
So, when you think, Hispanic, most people think, Mexicans, but really, there are Hispanics from all around the world that are coming here, and not getting into politics, the whole immigration thing, but I believe if God is bringing people to our doorstep, we have a responsibility to reach them, to share the gospel with them. And so, God is bringing these people to our doorstep. How they're getting there, here, right, wrong, or different, to me is not the thing. The thing that we must do is share the gospel with them. And, I like what, Randy Davis, who is the executive director for our Tennessee Baptist Mission Board, says. He says, any way you slice it, Tennessee is a mission field. And Tennessee is. You may not realize, but Nashville has like about 150 different languages there. Can you believe that? The largest Somalian population out of Somalia is in Nashville, Tennessee. That's amazing. And so, there again, God's bringing people from all around the world to Tennessee, and we have a responsibility to be able to reach them. And so, the Hispanic church, church plant is part of what I help do. We try to get all of our churches involved. Hispanics are very slow towards giving and everything because of their background, where they come from. They're again, many of them come out of poor background, and so that's why we have several churches that are working together in our association to help try to plant this church and be supportive of it. But the other thing, there again is like the See at the Pole event. We sponsor that through the association, so I work with our youth ministers to help plan that out and prepare for that. You help y'all collect the paper goods. Our church, all of our association help collect paper goods. We do that missions project to help support, not only here the Covenant Ranch, which is our ranch, which John Paul works at, and those summer missions, but also our summer camp ministries, but also they have things done in the fall. And you say, well, why do paper goods? Well, by us providing that, it helps them to not have to spend the money of that, and they can put it towards money of reaching young people for Christ. And then also Tomorrow's Hope, we give some of those paper goods to them, and then the Baptist Adult Home and Baptist Children's Home, which are two of our ministries here in Tennessee, where the Baptist Children's Home helps to provide a place for children who have no place to live, and then the Baptist Adult Home is for adults who have special needs, and they have no other place to turn to. This provides a home for them, and so these paper goods will help provide for them. They're again, the people who run these things, they come pick the paper goods up, and they express words of thanks because it saves them money that they normally would have to spend on these things. And then I told someone pretty much every week I stay busy. I'm preaching in one church to the other church, and so like I'm here this Sunday, and I'll be busy all the way through the month of October. I am committed to being in one of our churches. I oftentimes am called upon when churches are having difficulty to go in and help the church with whatever their difficulty is, if they have conflict of some kind or whatever. And so I'm very well trained in all that to help churches walk through their issues. And so I do that. Recently I had a pastor call me, and his son had gotten married, and his son's going to get married. He said, look, I don't want to do marriage counseling for my son. He said, would you do that for me? And so I did marriage counseling. And I don't offer to do counseling for a lot of people. So, as a matter of fact, I don't do things for people because I'm so busy. But anyway, I did do that for him. And so, I try to, any way I can be of assistance to our pastors, I try to be of assistance to them. So, I don't know if I covered it all.
You did a good job.
And the other thing, we have the dental ministry at our office, and once a month we try to provide dental assistance to people who are low income, senior adults, and need for dental work, and so, we're trying to do that.
And the carnival industry.
The carnival ministry, yeah. So we do, when you think about our association, all the missions work that's done around here is pretty much through what our association does. We've helped churches here in our association build churches, and so we provide whatever needs we can to help other churches. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? If not, I'll turn it back over to you.
Start standing right now, 275.